not as a journalist, but as citizen. The situation in Ethiopia now is very terrible. The country is in a crossroads. The day I left the country 2 months ago, there was a wide protest in the country, like in Oromia, the largest ethnic group, and in Addis Ababa there was a demonstration. I was covering that demonstration. In the evening, I supposed to catch a plane to come to Germany, but I was covering a demonstration. I have seen on my own eyes hundreds of young Oromos who were trying to demonstrate in Addis Ababa were arrested. A machine gun was out on the street in Meskel Square. Meskel Square is the main square in Addis Ababa, and people are trying to demonstrate on that one. And for the first time, I think after a long time, this thing is the protest is started last October, so it's almost a year now. But for the first time, the international media has got a chance to record the police brutality at Meskel Square, and I was there, and I have seen so many people are arrested. And I thought that I will not be allowed even to travel outside of the country, because previous to that, six months ago, when I was trying to travel to Germany, my passport was confiscated. So now they gave me my passport back, and I thought that was the day, according to Amnesty International, 100 demonstrators were killed. Before that, according to Human Rights Watch, around 500 people killed. That was like, the report was come out like May or something like that.
April or May.
April or May. And after that, the killing is really continued. Every day, if you open our Facebook page, you see very tragic pictures. People, youngsters are died, and now, thanks for the technology, nothing is hiding. Everything is out. Thanks for the mobile revolution in Africa, Ethiopia is one of the beneficiaries of that one. People are really becoming a citizen journalist, and they recorded almost everything. There is a video evidence, and there is a picture evidence, and the identity of those people who are killed on the streets are out minutes by minutes. And almost every day people are killed in Ethiopia, and hundreds of people, I can say thousands of people are arrested since the protest started last October. So it started like there was Addis Ababa master plan, the expansion of integrating Addis Ababa with the capital city with surrounding area, and farmers are the farmers are evicted from their lands, and they did not get enough compensation. And it's because of that they started demonstrating because of that. But now it becomes an anti-government protest. It started from Oromia, from the people and the largest ethnic group, but now it moved to Amhara, that is the second largest ethnic group in Ethiopia. So the two largest ethnic groups is accounted like almost two-thirds of the country. So the country is not only the two tribes, it's also in the southern part there is a problem. In the western part in Gambela there is also a problem. In Somali region, where Martin Shibiye and Yohan Person arrested, that area is
a no-go area.
It's no-go area. No one is allowed to go that area. Journalists are, even now, they are not allowed to go that area. So the country is in turmoil now, and the incidents, what's happening is a very fast-moving things, even for us, even for journalists. We are following minutes by minutes update from our country. It's very difficult to grasp, let alone for outsiders.
How is the government responding to this widespread protest? And
the government is always using forces to control this protests. It's a public uprising, and we have seen such type of uprising in other countries also. They should learn from such incidents. Instead of bringing a peaceful solution, they deployed military in these two regions. Now the militaries take over the security apparatus in these two big regions, and now the military versus the people. So they come out with machine guns, they come out with their own military equipments, and they are trying to control, they are trying to suppress the people's protest, and they always said that this thing is supported by some foreign elements outside of the country. But it's a sporadic type of protest. When you are trying to shut down or when you are trying to control, suppress by military from this area, it happened just within hours difference in another place. So it's a really it's very difficult situation.
What would you say if somebody asked you what are the most important grievances of the public? If you name 2 or 3 causes, why people are protesting, really? Let me give you a very good example. The last election, the ruling party won 100% seat. So in a country where the ruling party won 100% seat, it's expected that the people are supposed to be satisfied if that election is free and fair. I don't know in which country you have seen 100%. In even the most dictatorial countries, they just put it like 90-something%. But now we are 100% in the last election. And the people... And it's a country of 100 million, and the national parliament has 547 seats. And the regional states also have their own councils or local parliament. They are, the total is more than 10,000 seats in the country. So the ruling party basically won all seats. It's so a unique ruling party. Anyways.
Yeah, and their supporters, I mean, their members are like 3 million or something like that. In a country with a ruling party won 100%, 3 million supporters and everything, you expected that so many people are satisfied. But that is, it started from that one. Everything is shut down in that country. There is no freedom of expression. There is no freedom of the press. Political rights are not there. If you wanted to demonstrate in that country, you will be arrested. If you wanted to express your voice out just against what the government believes, it's really another thing in that country. So,
but how about economically? Reports about Ethiopia's economic rise, not even only growth, is so rosy a picture that every other African country wish to copy, and a lot of Western international partners would like to associate themselves with, and so on. How is that playing, the economic growth?
Yeah, there is a change in Ethiopia. No one. I mean, in my opinion, I can't say that there is no change in Ethiopia. There are changes. There are roads built in Ethiopia. There are infrastructures are built everywhere. The government is in some ways, when it compared to other African countries, they deliver when it comes to some issues. Talking about quality and other things, that's another issue. But the Chinese contractors, they took over most of the contracts and they did deliver some of the services. Of course, schools are built, health stations are built, roads are built, and like that. But when it comes to the real life, I mean the ordinary life, there is no that much change. So people are frustrated. 50% or 60% of the population is young, and the unemployment rate is very high. That's one grievances in Ethiopia. The education quality is really bad. The health quality, we are obsessing with numbers in Ethiopia. We are trying to multiply everything, but the quality is really bad. So yeah, there is a little bit change in the economy, but when it comes to real growth or development, real development, we don't develop that much.
of course there is change, I can say.
How is the civil society responding to this impending crisis in Ethiopia?
Is there any civil society in Ethiopia now? I mean, there are, since 2005 elections, the government come up with different legislatives, different laws. One is a very bad type of is the NGO law or the civic society, the CSO law, they called it. So because of that, they are successfully weakened the contribution of the civic society organization in that country. Most of the strong, even before in Ethiopia, we don't have that much very strong institutions. But after that election is passed, following to the 2005 election, almost all institutions are dead or weakened. So most influential foreign organizations, they left the country. And those who are now existing in the country, they didn't do almost anything. They existed in Addis Ababa with their office and everything, but their limitation, their capacity is very limited. Their human resource, manpower is very limited. They did not get a fund from outside because there is a restriction 90 to 10%. If you get 90% from outside of the country, you are not allowed to do human rights advocacy and other rights issue. So the rights issue is one of the big things. So all these things are happened in Ethiopia. The human rights abuse, the arrest, and all that things are left untouched because all these organizations which are supposed to do the investigation and the report and everything, they are not allowed to do that because of the law.
I will throw only two questions and then I will open the floor for a few questions and comments. What's in store for Ethiopia? What do you see coming in the coming, let's say, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years? What's in store? What are the scenarios you see?
Ethiopia is a very difficult country to predict, to tell you the truth, even for political analysis and even for those who followed the Ethiopian situation, who studied the Ethiopian situation for a long time. It's always very difficult to predict what will come next. But in my opinion and what I have seen on the ground there is, I have seen the strengths of the military, and if things are going on this pace, the military might take over the civilian administration. They are already involved in some parts of Oromia and Amara region. Now it's literally governed by the military. But I might see, it might happen in Ethiopia is that we will go back to the military regime.
Okay.
Before this regime comes, we were administered by the military regime. And in most African countries, as you have seen, when things are going a little bit tough, the military take over. So I have seen the military guys are criticizing the civilian administration. You are not doing very well, so let us give us some time to do such a thing. They openly say it in some meetings like that. So I am suspecting that one. The other thing, for foreigners, when I'm trying to discuss this thing, I always mention the Syrian situation. In Ethiopia, we have 85 ethnic groups. It's a very large country. It's a very diverse country, but there was a big tension in Ethiopia now. There is a big tension in Ethiopia now between some tribes. And if things are not controlled, if we didn't bring a peaceful solution for the political crisis in Ethiopia, the Syrian situation might happen, the civil war, or the Yugoslavia thing might happen in Ethiopia. I'm not wishing for my country a gloomy or a doomsday type of future, but I'm really scared for my own country. This thing might happen because the government is successfully shut down all the institutions, all the elderly's role in Ethiopia. Previously, when we fall in crisis, the elderly come, some institutions come, and those scholars and like that, they come and mediate. In some ways, we have a way to go out. But now, for the last 25 years, this government is successfully wiped out all these means. And now, when people are asking that, is there anyone who can mediate between the protesters and the government? We can't even find people on the ground. So I don't see a bright future for my country. I really scared, and I'm really afraid for my country. Things is turning to civil war, and bad situation might happen.
Well, that is a very pessimistic take on Ethiopia. I remember one of the most renowned Ethiopian historians, Professor Baharu Zode, once said that Ethiopia is a country of miracles. I had a hard time to accept that. If Ethiopia survived what's going on now, probably I would take that thesis for the future. But we will see. Just to conclude, I'm sure somebody will ask you later on, so let me make it easier for you. What the international partners can do, like Sweden, who doubled its development cooperation just in March with a big fanfare here.
That's one of the tough questions I always face while I'm traveling in Europe. People are asking me, what shall the international community can do? I think, development assistance, stopping development assistance is not a solution for Ethiopia because so many people are relied on development assistance. Ethiopia is facing the worst drought in the last 15 years this year. And I have been on, I've seen, I traveled with international media to very remote areas where food distribution is going on. And most of the food that distributed for that country comes from abroad. The government even can't feed its own people. Of course, there is a big fanfare. We are in a very good economic development and like that, but we are still relying on the development assistance that comes from Europe, America, and the other donors. So if that development assistance is stopped, so many people will suffer. So I don't advise to stop the development assistance, but diplomatically, the Westerners can do something against the Ethiopian government. That's what I believe. They can do travel ban of the government officials who are doing human rights abuses in Ethiopia. So many people are killed on the streets, and this is not hiding. This is recorded on video. This is recorded on pictures, and human rights organizations come up with big reports about these things. It's not a secret. So they should start punishing those officials by like a travel ban for their own and for their family, because they are always coming here and they always brag about their successful achievements. The other thing is that the Westerners always use Ethiopia as an example for other African countries to copy their developmental path. They should stop doing that. They should stop inviting them in G7 and G20 and other meetings. It is just like a way of supporting, do some developments and do the human right abuse also. You should balance, you should strike the balance between. I don't advise to stop the developmental assistance. They should continue to do that because we are really greatly endowed with, we are really thank the donors to bring something for us because our people are survived because of that. But appreciating what the Ethiopian government is doing is really another thing. So they should send a clear message to the Ethiopian government. Look at it. I think after a few days, Angela Merkel will travel to Ethiopia. So that means for the government, it's just like giving a recognition. I didn't see the merit of going to Ethiopia at this bloody time. So they should stop recognizing the Ethiopian government, and they should do the travel ban and other diplomatic ways of handling this.
Well, that is provocative and inviting for quite a debate. There is someone here who was in Gelete, so he cannot resist the temptation. Martin has few words to say. Yep.
No, I mean, first of all, congratulations for beating my 438 days with 1 day.
Yeah.
I spent 439 days.
Thank
No.
you.
No, jokes aside, it's terrible to hear that the situation is deteriorating, and it's sad that this hunting season on journalists that was declared in Ethiopia a long time ago is still ongoing and getting worse by the day and by the hour. It's saddening to hear, but I'm still so inspired by the work that you yourself and your colleagues do, and you really show that they can jail journalists, but they can never jail journalism. And I mean, during your time in jail, also other people took over your kind of voice when you lost your voice and carried it further. And there is such a young, I mean, brave generation in Ethiopia demanding democracy, press freedom, and so on. So there is hope also in that sense. It's just been great to have you here listening. Just one thought I have is, I mean, we have this really deteriorating crisis. We have hundreds of dead the last month, but still it's kind of a media blackout when it comes to news from Ethiopia. Of course, there is an extreme news situation with Aleppo and the Battle of Mosul and other things coming up, but still I feel that there is a lack of coverage. And of course, the reason is that the people who could do that job are locked in or are, I mean, afraid to speak. But that puts an even greater responsibility on foreign reporters and foreign journalists to be there and to cooperate with local journalists and give people a voice and also be there to check what's happening now that the situation is getting worse. And one of the project that we as I'm editor-in-chief at Blank Spot project, and one of the ideas we have for the future is really to launch a investigation into Ethiopia. So the money we get from new members the coming month, we will use it to make journalism possible from Ethiopia. So that's one way to do it. But I think that the stage belongs to you and all the honor. So you should have the questions, and I can pass on the mic for people who want to ask questions.
Sure. Thank you for that. Thank you for that good initiative from Blank Spot Project. And obviously, the need is there, definitely. We will have a few minutes, so I see Ahmed there, and yeah, sorry, I don't know your name.
Yeah. First and foremost, me? Oh.
No. Should I? No.
Okay, first and foremost, and I want to say welcome and congratulations for being free. Now, I'm a bit confused. When you told us about the development aid, you said so many millions of Ethiopians are in need of the help from West. Can you be specific? Should this help be given to the government or to non-governmental organizations? As long as the government gets the money it needs, why should it bother the reaction of the West? They are not interested. I mean, it's not big deal for them to be invited to Europe as long as they have the power in Ethiopia to control everything. Wouldn't it be wise to give the money, the aid, to non-governmental organizations that can give the money to the people directly? As long as the information I receive, or so many of us receive, the government uses the money to suppress the people. So I want you to be specific on this part. Or it reminds me of the situation in South Africa before their independence, when the two one another, those who wanted to make economic boycott and those who didn't. The reason those who said they don't want to make economic boycott was that it's the people who suffered. So please, I want you to be specific on this part.
Let's have